American Hammers TV. This is Ray hosting with today. We've got Sarah from. Where are you from, Sarah?
I am from the Bird is Blue YouTube channel.
There we go. And if you don't know Sarah, you should do because she's quite a big deal. Because Sarah is an award-winning blogger, isn't you, Sarah?
I am, yeah. It still feels quite strange to say that. It really does. Like, I remember at the time, Eni Aluko as well, who you see there with me, who presented me the award. She's a huge name in women's football. She actually just retired yesterday, and she's a huge hero of mine. So I was already a little bit starstruck, and when she announced my name, I thought like it wasn't actually happening. So I still can't quite believe it. But yeah, amazing. Very, very lucky girl.
Oh, well, fair play to you. That's really good. I saw it on a Hammers chat earlier when you was on there, and I was just like, amazing that. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it, mate.
So how did you get involved with Everton? You're a long life supporter?
I am, yeah. So as you can tell by my accent, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So I would be called Hero Wall, I guess, on occasion.
Yeah.
My dad's a Scouser, so he was born and raised on the Dingle, and we've moved all over the place through my dad's work. I've lived in Yorkshire, I've lived in the Midlands, I've lived in Peterborough for a while. I've been based in Liverpool for the last 2 years, but I've been travelling to watch Everton for my whole life, well, since I was about 4 years of age. So yeah, it's in the blood. We don't have a choice, else we might have picked something else. I love being a Blue. I wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, so that's kind of the background on me with the Blues.
Yeah, same with me being a West Ham fan. Like being from Dagenham, East London, you don't have a choice. My dad was a West Ham fan. My granddad was a West Ham fan. Uncles, cousins, the whole shebang. So it's like a West Ham fan, whether you like it or not, and you've got a life. You've got a life full of hatred and upsets and emotions that you never ever get anywhere else. But I'm sure everyone's had a few of them, haven't you?
Oh, I was just going to say to you, you take it. I feel like you're talking about me as well. I think we can feel each other's pain a bit there, but on the plus side as well, it's character building, isn't it, mate? You know, it's not like our rivals where things just seem to go for them. We've got to earn our right to be happy, and when we do get something good happen, we enjoy it all the more.
But to be fair to Everton, you guys have been a lot more successful than us. To be fair, since I was born. We haven't won nothing. Maybe it's me.
It's you, Ray. You gotta go, mate. You gotta go.
1918. I was born in November. We haven't won nothing since. Maybe I've got to change things, innit?
That's it. You could just don't choose Everton with that record, mate. No, I can at least say we won the FA Cup in my lifetime, but I was 3, so I can't remember that one. So I'll have to pray something changes and we see silverware return sooner rather than later. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. So you're saying you're doing some extra work with Everton Football Club. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm extremely privileged at the moment to be providing the match day content and just general media content with the Everton women. We've been doing stuff together for it's about a season and a half now. I started out by going to watch the women's game. I realised they didn't have that much of coverage and stuff. So I sort of asked if I could start doing little post-match interviews with some of the players pitch side and stuff like that, which the club allowed me to do, which I was very grateful for. And as it progressed slightly, they actually invited me to start providing the content for them alongside them. And that's kind of taken off even more so. And, for about a season and a half now, I've been traveling home and away with them on the team coach and getting to know the girls and really sort of part of the team. And it's incredible. As I say, I'm so lucky, and the women's game is just growing and improving all the time. So it's exciting to be a part of it, and especially at this time as well. So yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah, that's cool. I was watching last season the Young Football and Bosses with our guy Jack, and I thought it was really interesting. Like, I know a lot of West Ham fans didn't really like it, but I thought it was good behind the scenes of like a sort of a smaller club and see how it's all run and how it's done. And I imagine that's quite similar with you guys and the ladies team. Have BBC looked to approach you guys or anything?
Well, yeah, we're doing more. I think that was a real sort of groundbreaking thing for teams in the WSL last season. Obviously, them having the BBC 3 show, and it was good, and like you said, not everybody's a fan of it, but it documents quite well what life's like in the women's game. And Everton now, things are going from strength to strength, and more media outlets are interested. And we're seeing, last week we played Manchester City, and that was broadcast live on BT Sport on a Saturday evening. So it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm doing more and more content with them, and mixing that with the first team and stuff. So it's a really exciting time, and I think that's something you need to do in the women's game, is really get their personalities across, because they're so different to in the men's game. They're so approachable, and a lot of these girls, from being fans of them and going to watch them, from working with them now, they're mates of mine, because that's what it's like, and they're very relatable people who work really, really hard for what they've got. They've got a genuine love of football, and there's no, you don't get any of this luxury of getting paid 100k plus a week.
No.
They're really in it for the love of the game, and I love that. It brings it back to me. It's technically very good and getting better all the time, but as I said to you, it's more of a grassroots kind of feel, which is very refreshing in today's kind of football today, if you like. It's changing quite a lot. We see the VAR, etc. We haven't got any of that yet in the women's game, so that's a plus.
Wait for it.
Yeah, mate, I tell you, it's growing. I hope not. It's not going too well, is it? As you guys full well know, after what happened just the other day.
Yeah, which is definitely not a handball, but that's another thing, again.
I'm with you there. It was a joke, wasn't it, mate? Fast.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think women football is growing and growing. And it seems like it's at the nucleus of something new and something exciting. I know my girls who work at the bar upstairs, they some of them seems a lot like it and love it. So women's football, it's all part of the times and changes, isn't it? Where women were seen as second nature people, but now they're definitely more than equals, if not better than most of us men. Definitely better than me, anyway.
Ray, don't be hard on yourself.
I get bullied. Believe you, I get bullied by these girls. I get bullied.
You can't be having that, mate. You can't be having that.
Wait till you come see me. You understand.
You'll have to get down to an Everton women game,
Yeah, definitely. When they're playing West Ham.
Derby at Goodison Park in February, so that'll be a good one.
There we go. Definitely, we could do a show on American Hammers.
Sorted. There you go. You heard it here first, guys.
So what else has been going on at Everton? So what do you think the lineup's going to be?
I think we'll probably go 4-4-2. It's interesting under Ancelotti, because what we'd seen under previous managers was a pretty fixed starting 11 that you knew was going to be the same every week. Pretty standard that we'd have the same formation. That wasn't really working out for us. But what Ancelotti's done, obviously he's one of the best in the world, and he's automatically, we've seen him making huge rotations to the squad each time we play. There might be, 5-6 changes to the team. We've seen him playing players in different positions. So I think we'll almost certainly see Jordan Pickford in between the sticks, probably Luca Dean at left back. At the moment, I think Yerry Mina is sort of 50-50 whether or not he'll be fit to play. If he's not, it's a big blow, but we'd probably see Michael Keane and young Mason Holgate at the back, who I've got to say, I think Mason Holgate recently has been fantastic and probably would be my first choice centre-back at the moment. I would go with Sidibe at right back, probably Tom Davis in the middle with Bernard on the left. Gylfi Sigurdsson, now, he frustrates the life out of me, but we saw that he was given the captain's armband the other day against Brighton, which I was very surprised by. So Ancelotti's shown a little bit of faith in him. He has, of course, scored a goal again. He seems to be a little bit of a thorn in the side to West Ham. So, I think we'll probably see him start maybe Theo on the right-hand side, and Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top, I think we'll go with. And obviously both of them are in a pretty rich run of form. So, yeah, but I don't know at the moment. That's the honest thing. He seems to chop and change a lot, but I'd like to see us go 4-4-2 and go for it. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one, and interesting to see how West Ham and David Moyes sets up as well, and whether he will want to sit back a little bit or really try and get one over on his former club. So
yeah, which is definitely something that Moyes would like to do, wouldn't it? He would definitely like to get one back on you guys. And I was just looking at our team sheet. I've just actually lost it now. But I kind of worry about us because I think we're going to play like with wing backs, and Zabaleta is a bit of a worry for me. I'm not going to lie. He's literally 35 now. He's a bit past his prime. Yeah, he's been a good servant for the club, but he just can't run anymore. And I worry that you guys in the first half are going to just trample us in the first 45 minutes and, get a 2-0 lead up and then, just sit back and let us try and play through you in the second half because all the damage has been done in the first half. So, yeah, I'm not 100% confident, I must say. But, yeah, and like we only
made me feel more confident now, Ray.
We only even got a fully fit
I had 2 all in my head, and now I'm thinking, if we can get Bernard and Luca Dean exploiting Zabaleta down the right, I'm going to get onto Carlo now and be like, I'm sure he's already got it sussed.
Yeah, we've got Grandad on the left flank, like getting too old that he can't play. We've got 3 injured goalkeepers, so one of the injured goalkeepers has got to go in. So we ain't got much hope, to be fair.
I mean, this is giving me, like I said, more optimism for tomorrow. West Ham, though, I never feel confident going up against West Ham. And I think the fact it is David Moyes as well, he's never had much luck when he's had to face Everton again as manager. I think we've actually beaten him every time. So there is that as well. And he's no doubt going to... Is that right, actually? I might be incorrect there, but he's certainly going to want to get one over on us. And, there's players like Felipe Anderson, I think, on his day can completely run the show. Lanzini as well. Haller, who I think probably West Ham fans would have expected a little bit more, but is certainly a player with quality. And we can still be exploited at the back. We're still... This is still very much early days for Ancelotti, and he's got a lot of work to do. So... It all depends, and as you said, if the atmosphere is toxic tomorrow, given I know that fans aren't particularly happy with things at the moment, if the atmosphere is toxic, then that will work in Everton's advantage because we've seen that. On the flip side of things, we've very much seen that over the last few years when we've had certain managers in where it's not been working out and we felt frustrated. If you're not taking the lead within the first 20 minutes or you concede an early goal, it can be so hard for the home team to play there, and Evertonians will testify to that with Goodison Park, as I know you'll be able to with the Olympic Stadium as well. So Everton have to try and make that work to our advantage. Try and keep West Ham quiet early on. Try and nick a goal, and then just frustrate them more. Is how I'm hoping, from my point of view, it'll go.
Yeah, I think you could be right, but this is a good little stat for you. Like you've won 71 games. Drawn 30 and lost 40. So since West Ham have been playing in the records against Everton. So that's not a bad little stat for you.
Yeah, that's interesting actually.
Yeah. Just looking right down to that's since the beginning of time, but looking right down at so you've won the last 2, lost 2, won one before that, drawn 1. So you've got quite good record. You've only lost 4 in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So
actually, that's pretty sound, isn't it?
I've been building your confidence. So
I'm always pessimistic, and then you've built me right up right now.
wait till I message you tomorrow when we win 3-0.
Oh mate, honestly, I'm gonna get too cocky now. You'll beat us, and I'll be getting stick from all the American hammers. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I definitely think that could be something, as you just alluded to. There's going to be a protest before the game, and then depending on how that goes, depends on how toxic that starts to be at the beginning. If we start playing really badly or go 1-0 down very early within the first 10 minutes, I can see a lot of against the Burnley game last year or the year before. Happening again, where all the fans run on the pitch or they stand in front of the board. If I was Sullivan or Gold, I wouldn't turn up to the game tomorrow just to be on the safe side because it can be very, very toxic, and it can go very AWOL straight away. And our fans ain't shy, as
Yeah.
as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, well, this is it, and we all remember seeing that, the scenes from last season, and ultimately, it's fans that. Without fans, there's no football club, is there? So your fans very much just letting their opinions be known, and nobody, of course, your fans wouldn't have wanted it to get to that point. No fans do. I've seen things on this side as well with various protests, and it's never nice to see, but when you get to a point where you feel ultimately a bit helpless and something's got to be done, then you can see how it happens. And yeah, I think you're right. I think they'd be smart to stay away tomorrow in terms of what goes on the pitch as well. All that added toxicity is only going to hinder West Ham, and you're better off going into it. You need your fans behind you, and Everton always have excellent away support as well. So if it is toxic, no doubt they'll sort of thrive on that and, and try and get right behind the team, and try and get it even more so. So yeah, it would be a shame for West Ham to see there be protests tomorrow, but at the same time, I completely understand. You want your voices to be heard and take a little bit of control back. So we'll have to wait and see how that affects things.
But is it a case that it's going to just fall on deaf ears, which is kind of worried?
Yeah, I think there is always that worry, but I think that fans have more power than what we realise, and that's something that there's a lot of. Even in terms of the media and stuff, I know there's a lot of mixed opinions, and people don't like the fan channels necessarily, certain people, because they think, it's us getting involved. But that's because we are the voice of this. I'm not saying I speak for every Evertonian and vice versa. No, Nobody can do that. But, ultimately, without us, there is no football club. And I think they have to listen. They have to take some notice, because otherwise, what's the next step? We've already seen pitch invasions and various other things, and change has to happen. And I certainly do think that protests and things nudge them in the right direction, makes them take more notice, I guess. So
I kind of hope it does. And I think where before there weren't no internet, no social media or anything like that, that the chairman could get away with doing a lot of stuff that he wanted to, because what would they do? Go home and moan about it in the pub. Where now, with the internet and social media and fan channels and that, our voices got bigger, because we are the voice of the voiceless, where people can't get online and talk to. They used to only be able to talk in the pubs. Now they can talk to their friends in the chat room, as we've got loads of fans in here, 15 already. With your show, people can message you, or they can get involved with groups and activities. There's loads of fan pages on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media as a whole. So I just think times have changed, where the owners like Sullivan and Gold could get away with whatever they wanted, and now they're being held accountable for it. And that's just my opinion personally. But
yeah, I think you're right there. I think that's exactly it. There's no hiding, is there? Because as you say, during the game, people are talking about it. After the game, people are going out there to voice their expressions, voice their happiness, their anger, their displeasure, whatever it may be. And we know that the clubs take notice of it. The clubs definitely monitor, social media and what the fans are saying and what the general sort of consensus is. And I'm sure that they're probably feeling on tender hooks right now as well, knowing that something's going to happen. And I can understand why it annoys some people, because it's made their jobs a lot harder, I guess, because like you said, you can't just brush it under the carpet and fans turn up. It's ongoing constantly. You can constantly get online. People can constantly talk about what they want to see at their club, what they're unhappy about. And football, unfortunately, it's changing all the time, modern day football, but you just want to see things work out for the fans, because as we all know, it means everything to us. It's so important. Some people have religion, and some people have various other things. To some people, this is just as important as that. And when it feels it's being taken away from you and the power away from you, that's not good. So I just hope everything's resolved sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I feel like we're polar opposites, where like we could have been chasing you at one stage, or yous and Leicester's and that, where we've actually gone reversed. And you see, you guys, we got our new stadium thanks to the tax people, and you guys are building your brand new stadium, on the docks. Which, I've seen the visuals for it, and it looks amazing. It looks like top quality. You've got your owners that are investing. You probably invested about 100 million for the last 4 seasons. Is that right? Or every season you constantly investing. I'm not saying you've invested well, because I think there's going to be a couple of times where you've invested a lot of money on the similar sort of players. But you guys are still invested, and I think that's what West Ham fans really want, is to see that we're actually trying to do something. And when we see that they get 150 million off the TV revenues, for them to then only have a net spend of 25 million, they're like, well, where's the other 125 going? What's going on?
Yeah.
So
exactly. And you want to see it going in. You want to see it going, being invested directly into your team. That's what you want as fans. And as you said quite rightly there, as Evertonians, we can't complain about the money spent, because we've spent loads of it. We've just spent it not very well. But at least we know, now for the next couple of windows, we're going to probably have to be a bit more tight with the pennies. But we know that we've got investment. And like you said, it's an exciting time. And really, that's what you want. You want to see that your board and your club are willing to spend the money. As you said, where is it?
Exactly.
Where's the money going? And that's what you want to see. You want to see that going, and big players coming in to try and push us up the league. Huge fan base, huge stadium, a fantastic stadium. Whatever your opinion, I know it's got the distance to the pitch and stuff, but it's a fantastic stadium. London based as well. All these things. One of the oldest clubs. It's you should be right up there. And I think now, had things when Silva was still in charge, it felt very different. But like you said, the stadium, and now Ancelotti coming in, it starts to make you think, okay, maybe the sleeping giant is waking up. But then we've been saying this for like the last 4 years, so just touch wood that this time it's different, because I feel like it's Groundhog Day, and I feel like I've said that so many times. But you know what it's like. They build you up, don't they? And you gotta live in hope and optimism. Else, what's the point? So
it's life as a West Ham fan. You get excited, you have hope, you lose it, and then you start all over again. Yeah, definitely. But it must be exciting times for Everton. Getting a new stadium and stuff like that. And are you happy to move?
I mean, I'm devastated.
Well, not for you.
Yeah, I'm devastated. I'm so close, literally within stone's throw of the stadium here. I open my door and I can see it. And so match days will be more difficult. But no, I think the ground's been there for over 120 years. It's our home. It's where we've, enjoyed all of our success. It's part of the club. It's old and it's decrepit, but it's ours. And the thought, honestly, I mean, now every time I'm at home game and I hear Z cars, and I try and savour every moment. I mean, as you can probably tell, I'm quite a sentimental person. I'm a softie. And every time I hear Z cars now, I get that little lump in my throat and the tear, because we know we're on a countdown now, that we're on limited time left there. And I just can't imagine. It's somewhere that I've been going my whole entire life. It's, I can't imagine how it must have felt, having to leave yourselves as well a few years ago, and how emotional that was. It's so much more than just a stadium or a ground or a space. It's so deep embedded in you and your culture. So as much as the stadiums, wow, we have to move, like for revenue and everything else, we just have to move. It's seen its better days, Goodison, but it's our home, and I can't really get my head around the thought of leaving. So very, very contrasting emotions regarding that, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to have your bowling moment like what we did when we left.
Yeah.
And I could see the streets being completely filled, and it's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I think, And as you're right, the way the football's going is you're going to have to get a bigger stadium. You're going to have to move. You're going into a beautiful area. It's going to be a beautiful area. They've invested a lot of money into that area as it is, with all the high rises and all the flats that are going around there. So, Yeah, I think it's exciting times as an Everton fan. So yeah, good luck with that. How do you feel being like number 19th in the world rankings for the financials, and West Ham being 18th? Have you seen that?
I know. I think these have overtook us now, isn't it? Like
Apparently by 10 million. So
by 10 million.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
we can only get
goalkeepers
goalkeepers money. Yeah, it is. It's all TV money. And it's because we've finished 10th or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how that works. Like, I really don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, it's quite a shocking statistic when you think of all the teams in the Champions League or the massive successful teams across Europe and wider. It is quite strange. Obviously, we know the huge history of both Everton and West Ham, and some of the oldest clubs around. But yeah, I was surprised to see us still right up there. So yeah, who knew you guys have got more dough than us at the minute? So
we still don't spend it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we got right. Yeah, we got a free stadium. Your stadium's costing you how much? Do you know?
Oh, it's gonna be. I can't remember the exact numbers. It's like 60 million or something. I can't remember. Probably a lot more than that.
So we got.
I'm not sure.
We got ours to 0. You got yours to 60. You've been spending money on players, and we're net spend of like 25 million. I don't know where the money's going. I really don't. I wish.
Get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. We have to get Kieran at the Liverpool University because he does the Twitter page. Do you know about Kieran?
No.
He does all the financials for the Premier League. So I'll show you his details. Okay. But that'd be quite cool.
Get him on the situation. Send him in.
Yeah, definitely need to. One of your ex-players is linked with us. Apparently, a loan move was turned down for him. What do you feel about Ross Barkley?
Again, it's quite typical David Moyes looking to familiar players when he's moved to a new club. And interestingly, though, Ross Barkley is someone that he never really seemed to have the best relationship with at Everton. But there's no doubt that Ross Barkley is a very, very talented footballer, and I think he'd be a good little signing for you guys, whether that be on loan or what have you. Undoubtedly, he's got massive talent, and for a time he was certainly a fan favourite amongst Evertonians, being a local lad, being a Blue himself, and showing so much promise. He was always compared to Paul Gascoigne and players of that calibre. So, technically as well on his day, he can be one of the best footballers you've seen, but it's, to think of the days where he was ranked as one of the best up-and-coming players and, tipped to be playing for Manchester City and winning titles and a real star man for England. It's just not worked out for him that way. There was obviously not the nicest of situations, the way in which he left Everton, and that caused a lot of animosity between Everton fans and himself. But I think he'd be a great signing for West Ham.
I was just about to say, there's been a lot of fans on Twitter, as you know, they all jump on Twitter and they always say that they would rather have him back at Everton. Would you welcome him back or would you not?
Personally, I think some people say things are beyond forgiving or whatever, but football fans forget, like, someone comes in or comes back and scores a few worldies and puts in really good performances, works the socks off, and things can change, and personally, if he was to come back and show glimpses of the player that he can be, then gladly, I don't think he's necessarily was in the best headspace when he made that decision and the way it was done. And we all know what agents are like as well. And they can manipulate people and stuff like that. So, yeah, I can certainly think of worse players, to come back to Everton. So he'd have to probably earn a little bit back with the fans and say something and, apologise or whatever. But yeah, football's a strange thing. And as I say, imagine him coming back and score the winner against Liverpool in a derby or something. I'm sure he'd be a hero against that.
All be forgiven, wouldn't it?
It would It's been that long, mate. I tell you, I'd forgive him.
Well, I think even if we took him on and he played against Liverpool and won the game for us against Liverpool, I think a lot of Everton fans would love him for that as well.
Yeah, I think we'd go on. You've heard you fair play for that one, lad. You could come back to the city now. Someone will buy you a pint, like.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know about that far. But there's a few rumours going around about your team. I've been looking up at Fabian Delph. Do you know about this?
Fabian Delph.
Yeah.
Is this the thing with the supporters?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't ideal. After the Merseyside derby, I believe an Evertonian had messaged him on Instagram or some social media platform, and he got into it with them and sent a few responses, which, let's be honest, really isn't what you want to be seeing from your first team players, especially when they've just lost in a derby. Like, the fans are going to be angry. Let them be angry. Don't get sucked into that. You're a professional footballer. You're getting paid a lot of money. I understand when people say things to you on social media, it's not nice. It doesn't matter if you're a professional footballer. It's not nice, but in that moment, you've got to just keep your head and just ignore it and think, right, my best way to answer that back is by playing out my skin in the next time I put on the blue shirt, not getting in tit for tat. It's quite embarrassing, to be honest. I wasn't sure at first whether it was, real or photoshopped, but no, I believe that was genuine, and that he's spoken to the club and admitted that it was a mistake. He's made a mistake, and we all do make mistakes. So let's just hope that we don't see that happen again.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need. He's earning too much money to care about what a fan says to him. Just ignore it. I'm surprised he even looks after it. A lot of them have their own people look after their social media for them. So
yeah, to be honest, to probably help avoid that kind of a situation, because we know what football fans can be like, especially we know what Twitter can be like. Social media can be a very, very hateful place. So you just got to not pay any attention to that. If you know that you're gonna be getting a lot of grief, probably best to, like you say, hand it over to whoever it is that runs it, or just delete the app for a couple of days, focus on getting your head down in training and coming back. That's the best way. But I say that, and I'll probably end up getting into it in a comment or something. You know what I mean? It's easy, I guess, in the heat of the moment and feeling the emotions. You see me now mouthing it off with everyone tomorrow.
That'd be you on the bar after. Be like, I'm on the bar, come on.
Causing absolute murder in East London. That's it.
Oh, yeah, doing it. Okay, in East London, come on.
Come on then, let's have a go.
Are you going to be at the boats on Saturday?
Yeah, hopefully, mate. Hopefully. So it'll be good to see you and Gio and the guys. So yeah, looking forward to that, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm debating it. I think I might try and get down there. See if I can get a ticket. I'll speak to Gio, see if I can get a ticket. Gio,
that's it, man. You got to do it. He'll sort you out, no doubt. He's a good lad.
Yeah, definitely. Bless it. Right, what else was I going to look at? Just West Ham on TalkSport. Did you have you listened to the TalkSport about David Gold on TalkSport?
What's this bit here? Oh no! What's
they did an interview. They did an interview, and it's all PR stuff. And it's just more things that are winding up the West Ham fans. It's just like, just stay quiet, just stay out of it. Don't get involved. Just leave it be. But and the interview with Karen Brady saying that they're doing things for the fans and all that rubbish. But it's just terrible.
It's easy toxic to say things in it, like. And that's what frustrates fans as well, I think, is when you feel you're just getting the spiel, for publicity or whatever, to make sure that in the eye of the media, they're doing and saying the right things. But we all know, like, actions speak louder than words. And if you genuinely look after your proper supporters, then you're making life easier for yourself in the long run. And when you see, especially on things like TalkSport and stuff, I think you're just asking for trouble sometimes. And when there mightn't be the best relationship between the club and the supporters, etc., right now, you're best not doing anything to kind of fuel the fire. So I remember when we had Sam Allardyce as manager, it used to just be like, or even, and as you guys all know as well, or even after that, and you just thought, just stop talking. But he doesn't know how to do that, does he, Big Sam? So he used to get under my skin quite a lot, but now that he's gone, I find him funny again. So he's funny as long as he's not managing your team.
Exactly. I remember all the Newcastle fans were like screwing about, and I was like, okay.
It's your problem now.
yeah, definitely. So, guys, anyone in the chat room, if you've got any questions for us, Sarah, keep them nice, PG, nothing rude. Put them in the comment section. We'll try and answer some questions for the next 5 minutes. So, what else do you do, Sarah, in your free time?
To be honest, like, so much of my time at the moment is spent either traveling around with the women's team, trying to build up my content and stuff. And yeah, football takes over so much of my life. Like, I must admit, it was so nice over Christmas to go spend some time with my mum and my sisters and my little dog, get out, go into the countryside, get some zen on the situation, and see friends from back home, you know, before I moved here. But I love this city, to be honest. I love being out, socializing with people. And as much as it stresses me to death sometimes, the football, I do love what I do. And I'm lucky to be so embedded in the kind of world. And let's just hope that Everton go on to be more successful, so that I can enjoy it even more without the rainy days as well. So yeah, just chilling really, like, and working hard, trying to work hard, play hard, but at the moment it feels like a little bit more of work hard. But when you enjoy what you do, you can't complain, can you? So.
No, but Wally, yeah, I've had to kick her out. She's been drunk and disorderly enough times, loads of times. On a serious note, have you ever been to the bar, Sarah?
Do you know what? I've been there to where it is. Obviously, I see it very often, being in the city, but for anyone who didn't know, well, a lot of you won't, I'd actually stopped drinking alcohol like about 4 years ago. So I tend not to go out as much now in terms of like clubs and stuff like that. I do still love going out and being in pubs because it's where a lot of my mates are. Obviously, being in football as well, you know, booze is a big feature and stuff like that. So no, I've not actually been there yet, but after chatting to you tonight, I'm 100% coming down. We have actually arranged this, haven't we? And I'm going to have a J2O or a non-alcoholic beer. So yeah, we look forward to that one.
And then we get a couple of shots in there.
yeah, why not?
I'm back off the wagon. Come on, Ray.
If we win on Saturday.
Yeah. Fucking Gio over the boats. Come on, Gio, come in there.
In it, on the boats, in it, rocking the boats, having a whale of a time will be.
Cool. Well, I don't think there's any other questions. Tell us about your, what's this? Love your accent.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Wally, you little smoothie.
Thank you, Wally. I appreciate that, mate.
So what's your Twitter handle and how can people get hold of you? If there is any.
Yeah, so my Twitter handle is at Sarah Halpin, then the number 9. YouTube, it's The Bird is Blue or Sarah Halpin, The Bird is Blue. And on Instagram, etc., if you type in Sarah Halpin _TBIB, then you'll find me on there as well. So you'll no doubt get sick of hearing my little accent there. But that's how you can get hold of me.
It's when she starts saying award-winning, Sarah.
Well, that's how I introduce myself now when I walk into a room. I'm like, Sarah Halpin. I'm like, excuse me. No, I'm joking, just to clarify.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah. It's been amazing to chat to you. Good luck.
My pleasure.
What's your final prediction now you finish chatting to me? What do you reckon? Sticking with 2-2?
What's that prediction?
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'd had in my head 2-2, like that was set. But after you talking to me and what Gio had said as well about Zabaleta, depending on your starting 11, I might change my mind. want to be optimistic, and I might change it and go 2-1 to Everton. But there's something in me that's saying it's going to be a score draw. So we'll have to wait and see.
I was going to say that. I was going to say 2-1. I think you'll go 2-0 up. And it all depends on how toxic, whether we get a goal back or not. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone in the chat room. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to go to the website and buy our merchandise. We're also on Twitter. We're doing a competition. So if you see the 1,000 views, give it a like and subscribe. And that's it. Well, I know Sarah won't say this, but come on, your irons.